Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rambling Through Everyday Life with Fran and Angela. My name is Fran, and I am so glad that you are joining us this week. Sit back, enjoy the show, and y'all, our rambling adventure that has hit the road. Did you follow us on stories? There's a highlight there. You can see all the fun if you haven't already. Follow us on the old Instagram. Okay, guys, we love you so much. Enjoy the conversation. Okay. Well, Angela, in the opening teaser of this episode, I reference the big rambling adventure because we're recording this before the adventure begins.
48 hours.
48 hours. But we are going to tell them where we're going at the end of the show.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're going to force you to listen to all the nonsense, and then we'll tell you what's happening.
And Yep. And it's really cold here. My hands are so cold.
Listen, there's still snow on the ground.
Yes. Do you know, I did the Charlie Brown. You know, when your feet just start flying every direction? It felt like 5 minutes on the sidewalk outside my office this morning. And I thought, am I going down?
Well,
am I okay? I recovered. And then I kind of looked around like, I'm good. Nothing to see here. Who's watching? Nobody was watching. But it felt like the world was watching me do the Charlie Brown shuffle and not fall to my demise. Can you imagine if I'd broken my hip before our big adventure?
No, I would have been like, girl, you get in that wheelchair. Come on, I'll push you wherever around we're going.
Yesterday morning, I had to be in a small town court at 8:30. And first of all, I need y'all to know I arrived at 8:27 inside the courtroom, not in the parking lot. And also, I need y'all to know that normally on Angela time, you just presume that you can go the highest maximum speed allowed by law. And I did not factor in the fact that from my house to McNairy County, you go through back roads. And solid sheets of ice. Was I on Voxer with you when that happened? Because I remember thinking, Fran may be listening to this going, get off the Voxer and don't die.
It's just so scary.
I was holding my breath, like on a sheet of ice going, don't hit the brakes. Do I even hold the steering wheel? What do you do on ice right now?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to drive.
If you're in the north or from the north, you think we're ridiculous you are correct. Nobody knows what to do on a snow day.
This was the perfect snow. Well, I don't know. It depends on how you feel about snow and what is perfect to you. But it was good in the sense that we got a day off from work, but the roads were immediately slushy and it stayed on the ground, but the roads were pretty clear quick.
If you wanted to use a snow day excuse, you were valid.
Oh, yeah.
However, Angela had a rescheduled hair appointment because my precious hair person had gotten the flu and we had to reschedule once. And everybody listening is probably very aware how difficult it is to schedule. And I told my husband the night before this anticipated snowfall, I said, no matter what, come what may, you have to. And he thought I was saying, get me to work in the morning.
Yeah,
I said, you have to get me to my hair appointment.
This is what ultimately matters, people.
And he said, I got 4-wheel drive. It will happen. And it happened.
And it wasn't that bad.
It was not that bad at all.
Yeah.
It was not, but it was so beautiful.
You're going to have fresh hair for our trip. I have a hair appointment the day before we leave. So I'm going to have fresh hair because that will make us feel so good as we prance around doing all the prancing around things that we're going to do.
Prancing, not, what was it? Frolicking.
Not frolicking.
Not frolicking.
This is prancing for sure.
That reminds me of Reindeer and Prancer. Now I just have this visual. Okay, speaking of prancing, I have on the other pair of boots.
Yeah, you do.
That I got at Target. Y'all, $30, and they're so cute, and they are comfortable. I'm standing on my feet in a courtroom with warm feet, happy feet, comfortable feet. You know,
well, and you know, the thing is, I was just in Target yesterday getting my emergency for this trip because
we cannot. Fran has told me 30,000 times.
We're not getting sick.
Wash your hands.
Well, that's not true. This was a pickup. So another time recently, I was in Target, and I think they might already be transitioning to some spring. It's
not even Valentine's Day yet.
So if you are interested in those boots, you may have to order them online. Yeah. But they're worth it.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
One more time.
Tarjay.
They're just so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all this snow had our bird watching
Oh my
in
God.
overdrive.
I love it so much, y'all.
Y'all, we are obsessed. And I don't think I've mentioned that over Christmas holidays with my family in Nashville, I met a chicken named Doris.
Yeah, you did.
And if you don't know, my name is Doris Angela.
Is the chicken named after you, or that just happened to be the chicken's name?
Well,
because this is all family.
Isn't this great? So I'm named after my mother's mother.
Yes.
And we were visiting my mother's brother.
Yes.
So the chicken is named after the same Doris that I'm named after.
Oh, full circle
Because
moment, everybody.
We're standing, and let me just say, my mother's brother, my Uncle Chris and Uncle Ronnie are like massively tall men, which is where Cole gets his height. Cole is 6'3".
Yeah.
Carl and I are 5'8". Cole is just huge. But Cole is named after my mother's maiden name is Coles.
I love this.
Chris Coles is my uncle, and Cole is named after them. So Cole is named after them, and the chicken's named after the woman that I'm also named after. But it was just so sweet and great. And my cousin Christopher and his wife Courtney are so precious. They have got this cute little farmhouse in Hendersonville. It's just, she is like Joanna Gaines Jr. Everything in there is darling. But in their little eating nook in their kitchen, I wish I had a photo of it. I'll get one because y'all need to see this. She has framed black and white photos of all the grandparents, the great-grandparents. So I'm able to take my children into my cousin's home and say, this is your grandmother Doris that I'm named after. This is your grandfather in his sailor uniform.
Yeah.
And they were my mother's parents. They died when she was young. I never knew them. My mom was 9 when her mama died and 18 when her daddy died. So all that trauma, like we've just always heard about them. We named anyway. So it was just so sweet to be there in the first place. But toward the end of our visit, we had been to their chicken coop. They have a chandelier in their chicken coop.
Oh, now this is my kind of people.
You have got to come with me the next
That's
time.
fantastic.
But then she says, oh, we've got new chickens. And we've named them all after the grandmothers. And immediately I just went, hold on a minute. And then she said, we have a new chicken named Doris. And I thought, knock me over with a chicken feather. Like, this is the best. So she goes to get Doris. And then I immediately, decide I'm scared of chickens. So I'm standing. I didn't want to. She was like, would you like to hold Doris? I was like, no, I'm good. I'll just smile beside Doris.
You've never held one?
No.
I would just think they're going to start ruffling their feathers and fly away and get irritated.
Your eyeballs out.
Or hurt me.
Their little chicken feet creep me out.
Yeah. Well, they're interesting creatures.
Carl, as we know, loves the birds. But yeah, anyway, so I met a chicken named Doris, and it was one of the highlights of my Christmas.
You never know.
You just never know.
You never know. I don't have anything. I don't have anything comparable to that, y'all. Nothing.
Oh, and I saw a bobcat.
Yeah, y'all did.
I was in my deer stand.
I don't know that I would. Would you know the difference between a bobcat and a coyote?
Well, okay, this bobcat was very small. But to me, it looked like a fox.
Oh, a fox, yes.
I don't think if Carl had not said, there's a bobcat and it is so rare to see a bobcat, he was like, you don't understand how many men have sat in their deer stands and never seen a bobcat. And I'm just like, and it was so cute. Immediately, Carl said, take a video for Fran.
This is huge, y'all. But it was a baby, like he was young.
He was a baby, and he would sit there.
Wonder where his mama was.
Or his daddy, who knows? But he would sit there and swish his little tail like a cat.
Aww.
And Carl said, watch him, he's hunting. And you could see that and there were deer right where he was before he came along, and he was too small to hurt the deer, but the second he came around, those deer took off.
Oh, well.
So it was fascinating. It's
size
like our own
doesn't matter
zoo.
there, because those deer could have, you would think they'd be we're taking you out, buddy. Get off our land.
Yep.
Yeah, again, people, these are things that are not happening in the Thomas backyard. This is
our animal segment.
Yeah.
Or maybe the segment should
wildlife.
Maybe the segment should be, these are things that normal people don't necessarily, because also, furthermore, so, okay, I'm going to tell y'all another story. So on Christmas morning every year, we go to Carl's brother's house. Jason and Jesse have us over for breakfast. My nephew, Will, plays basketball for Jackson Christian. He's always been very athletic. I played church league basketball. I was not a real good sport. That's a whole other story. That's why I love FCA. Some of us needed Jesus and athletes a long time ago in athletics. Anyway, all that to say, basketball is the one thing that I will play. I will cheat to win. I will tickle or pinch or whatever. So we go over there and have this knockdown, throwdown basketball game in their living room.
Yeah,
Picture
not outside.
Christmas breakfast. And as Jesse is preparing breakfast in this open floor plan, great home, beautiful home, there's basketballs flying across the counter into the sink.
Man.
Or they've got a full-size goal with one of those soft touch basketballs.
If only I knew of something like this. I don't know that this was an option when my kids were that age.
I've never even heard of it until one Christmas we went to their house and we're all just mesmerized.
We had the old school, like the thing you clip on the back of the door.
Yes, the Nerf.
The Nerf thing.
And then we had the one, like the little pop-up one, kind of like at Chuck E. Cheese where you
right.
throw. But this is like next level. So every Christmas, Cole and I have, we wind up mad at each other because we have such a knockdown. So Carl, God love him, ordered us a basketball goal. Y'all, I now have a basketball goal in my living room.
It complements the deer.
The moose.
The moose. It's a moose, y'all. That moose is huge on the wall.
And for a week, I dreamed that the moose crashed through the wall.
Oh, I would still kind of look at it and go, how do we know he's secure on that wall?
And no matter where you are in the room, it looks like he's looking at you.
That creeps you out.
Like I told you I do my 9 o'clock stretching hour now.
Hey, Mr. Moose. Does he have a name?
We just call him Mr. Moose.
Mr. Moose, okay.
But I've decided that every night I need to stretch. So it's like my 7th inning stretch is what Kaylee calls it. And I'll just get in the floor and start stretching.
You and Mr. Moose.
Me and where I am, sometimes I look up at him and I think, he's directly above me and could harm me right now.
How does that happen, when it feels like no matter where you're standing in the room that they're looking at you?
I don't know.
Unless his eyes are really moving, Angela.
Now I'm going to be keeping
Mr.
two
Moose,
eyes on that moose everywhere I go.
Mr. Moose.
Yep.
Can you hear me, Mr. Moose?
So now on one end of the living room, we have a big moose head. And on the other end where the Christmas tree was, we have a basketball goal. We realized last night it can lower to Atlas.
Oh, that's
appropriate
so
height.
fun.
And Atlas just might be a baller. He's got some really good hand-eye coordination.
Listen.
So we might or might not have harmed a lamp in the process. Replaceable, all is well. Everything is fine.
This is winter, people. This is, you got to get creative and figure out what are we going to do? Otherwise, we just sitting here watching the old television.
Speaking of Atlas, we got him something, I think maybe off the TikTok shop for Christmas.
Sweet.
Shocker.
By the time this airs, is TikTok going to be around or not?
I don't know. I thought I heard there was an extension, but that may be fake news. I don't know. Okay, so have you heard of a Glory Light Bible verse projector? I had never heard of this.
No, but we talked about it.
We talked about it.
Yes.
And I need the people to know about it.
The people do need to know
oh my
this.
Gosh. I bought some things that I regret, and I bought some things that knocked it out of the park from TikTok shop.
Okay, remind me to tell you what another TikTok shop, not a good...
That would be a fun question in stories. What do you regret and what do you
Most of the time it is a regret.
I did get a little video camera that goes under the water and videos the fish. It's like a fish finder, and Cole is obsessed with it.
That's cool.
That was a win.
Yeah.
Okay, but this Glory Light, so it projects scripture verses on the ceiling. So as he is saying his nighttime prayers and preparing to fall asleep, you can put different verses up on the ceiling, and he loves it.
And it helps him learn how to read, right?
Yes.
Because can he read?
He's starting to. He can spell it. He can write his name. Okay. And he's slowly, kindergarten.
Yeah,
very slowly.
Right. Okay.
But it's just so sweet to speak those verses over them, to let them see just the visual of, it's like a canopy over him.
So precious.
And it made me want one.
Oh, for sure.
I may need a Glory Light.
I know. Everybody order your Glory Light. Yes.
Tell me about your TikTok shop
let's
story.
just say that it took forever. It was something that someone had ordered, and not me, but it was for me. And, sometimes if you're not a seasoned shopper, you don't pay attention to where things are coming from. They're not coming from Texas or
Like my fake moms.
They
Came from Beijing.
Yeah, I think this is what happened in this particular scenario. And so they arrived, and I opened them up, and they were. I was like, oh, this will be fun. This will be cute. I was actually going to bring them on the trip and be like, surprise, look at my fun new pajamas. They were Taylor Swift pajamas that I'm pretty sure a 4-year-old could wear.
Oh, no.
That kind of thing. And you're like, well, can't return them.
Oh, no.
But I'm not the size of a 4-year-old.
Oh, no.
So, but you know what? That's just the thing. Like, it's so risky. You
never know.
No, and the people that they have, the influencers or whoever they are, you're like, I don't know. I don't know you. I can't trust you.
We're basically sponsoring them because they're making money off us counting on whatever they say to be true.
Right.
But sometimes they're right.
So looking at your pen on the table right now, these pajamas would fit that pen.
Oh, my. Barbie.
I know.
Barbie pajamas.
Well, and they were like,
Can we put them on the dog?
Well, they're adult size in length.
Right.
But just like the size, like if I, let's say a size adult small would be like, I don't know, for a 24-month-old. Like,
is it the difference, like internationally? Are people smaller?
I don't know. Again, you got to pay attention to these things, like your sizing, your shipping, returns, all of that stuff.
This is so random, but when you said international, it made me think of this. Did you know on your calculator, it converts currency? This is so random.
No.
But look, there's this little button on your calculator, and you can push convert. And then if you're traveling internationally,
that'd be nice
we're
to
not.
know.
But if you can know, like when I was in St. Lucia, I was lost the whole time. I didn't know what was happening.
I know.
But you just type in a number in US dollars and it tells you in the other currency on your calculator on your iPhone.
Well, anytime I've been in a foreign market, and I'm not the person that you want shopping with you in a foreign market where you can negotiate prices, I'm like, nope, that sounds great.
I'll take it.
I'll take
2 of them.
Yeah, because I don't know the exchange. I can't figure that out fast enough.
I think they're going to yell at me.
Yes. I get very anxious. And so that would have been helpful for me back in the day, because I would have been like, no, in the U.S., we would have never paid whatever.
I tried to be brave in New York and haggle with the man on the sidewalk over my leather jacket. And then he just was like, no.
No, I know.
And I really wanted it. So then I had to go. They were like, just walk away. And he didn't. So then I had to do the walk of shame back to him.
Never mind.
Here's $40. I really want the jacket.
But they told me to try. And I'm so proud.
I'm not from here.
I'm not from here. Lord have mercy, y'all.
There was something else I was
Can
going to
you believe that it's already the middle of January?
No. What in the world?
January, I say this all the time. I sound like an old person, but January, it's just so, I don't know. The sun is out today, so at least it's out. But where's April?
That certainly helps.
I'm ready for April, May, June, July. I really am. I would much rather be warm and hot than to be cold. I'm fine for like a month of winter, and then like, okay, we're done here.
Well, I'm enjoying all my layers. I got my big parka.
I walked over to the library today without a coat on and just about froze.
I was like, hurts me. Like, it hurts my bones. I remember old ladies
This is our geriatric section, everyone.
Okay, here's something funny I saw that caused a ruckus of a debate. And it's kind of funny. But I'm curious if you have an opinion on it.
Do I need to prepare my fake laugh in case I think it's not funny?
Well, it's not funny at all, I guess. But it just was, like, interesting to me. People on, I don't know where I was, somewhere. I mean, it was like thousands and thousands of comments in a heated debate. They didn't even casually have opinions. They were very opinionated on, should you use a top sheet? Yes or no?
I feel like I saw this too, though.
The people who are fitted sheet only, I do not want a top sheet. Give me my comforter and my fitted sheet. Were very opinionated. The people who said, you better give me a top sheet or I can't sleep, are very opinionated. I realized after I read this, thinking this is so dumb, that I too have opinions.
Well, of course. It's a preference.
Yes.
It's a preference that you have. And then what's fascinating is that our preference, our opinion, we feel so strongly about it. And when it's something of like not a lot of value.
It's not a lot of consequence at all to anybody else.
Who cares?
But I think it's partly because I'm so like claustrophobic. And Kaylee and I had this conversation, and she feels the same way I do. She said, I don't want a top sheet. She said, I like it in theory, but I have to be able to kick my foot out because I get hot and feel trapped. And I feel the same. When I'm all like buttoned down in a sheet, I feel like I cannot breathe and I'm dying. So then there were all the people saying, that's so gross that the comforter's touching you and not your sheet. And I'm like, you know what?
I don't
Take
really.
a bath and do your laundry.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I don't care. But, oh, dang, I forgot what I was going to say. Something that Kaylee said. Oh, like, you know, like when you go in a hotel and they've got that bed made so dang tight.
Yes.
Like, dang, no, nobody leaves it that way. But I guess that just makes you psychologically feel better that it is clean. These sheets are clean and crisp. I don't ever want to talk about, we're never going to do a hotel segment.
Ooh.
Because
especially not 48 hours before our trip.
No, well, and I tend to like, you're like, well, I'm a realistic person. I get it. But also like, I don't think about it. I don't
want to talk about bed bugs. Is that what we're doing?
No, I don't want to talk about that either.
My sister always does this thorough check, and I'm out on a hope and a prayer going, hopefully nothing bites me.
Right. But yeah.
Now I'm itching.
Have you ever had anything disastrous happen in a hotel? Send us a DM and we'd love to hear about it. But preferably wait until after our trip.
Well, my takeaway from all that top sheet nonsense was just people love to just have opinions and yell about opinions. And I'm
Listen.
like the way that you prefer to sleep has nothing to do
Yeah,
with
I don't
me.
care as long as you're happy. I thought you were going to say that there's a segment, y'all, on Facebook for the locals, the local people. And it is called What's Happening in Jackson, Tennessee.
It gives me so much anxiety.
And y'all, within work, it is so funny because if one of us catches the right topic of conversation that gets 300 comments of ridiculousness, we'll take a screenshot and send it to each other and be like, okay, go find it and get caught up on this silly stuff. I thought you were going to say that.
I wonder what the latest. See, okay, I have.
I do know because it was last night.
What was it?
Apparently somebody went and posted on What's Happening in Jackson, Tennessee Facebook group that they had ordered like DoorDash some food, and the girl act like she took the food, like left it, but then she ended up actually taking it or something, when in reality
she ate their dinner that they paid for.
But when in reality that's not what happened. And then it turned into this, well, you only left her a $2 tip, and you know, it just turned into this whole thing about DoorDash and why did you spend X amount of dollars at that restaurant? And, you know, it's just like, y'all have nothing better to do.
And then you get kind of invested
Oh,
because you're
but
like,
I'm reading it.
I need to see what Mark said back to Karen.
Yes.
And how are they?
I'm reading it. I'm reading this nonsense. And I don't care anything about it. But I'm like, oh, my God, this is small town America.
When I can say nothing makes me need a anxiety fix more than when I see that I'm tagged in that page. I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm always going to comment like,
if y'all ever see me tagged in there, please say something kind.
Well, I do read the comments like, because it's usually, you know, who I need a good attorney for this, that, or the other. And so if I see it and I'll comment. But if I do see your name, I'm like, oh, what y'all saying? Because if you say don't ever hire Angela Snyder, you better believe I'm going to be like, delete. Can I delete? Can I remove this comment?
That's what's so horrible. Like you can't. And anyway. When you do what I do, you've made some enemies, even not meaning to.
Right. Well,
so anytime somebody's like, "What do y'all think about this person?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
I couldn't imagine.
delete."
I could not imagine. I'm glad that in my work, nobody, knock on wood, Lord Jesus, please no.
No peer reviews on Facebook.
No, is going into the What's Happening in Jackson, Tennessee.
What do y'all think about Fran?
No.
Well, I know that we have some listeners who are very kind as well as you. So if you're listening and you have come to my defense or rescue or just said a kind word, it really does matter.
Oh, yeah.
I try not to read those things, but sometimes you're just like, oh,
yeah.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, why do you have the book in front of you? Did you just bring that up here? Are we
I
going to
had
talk
it in my
about it?
purse because
I've
we're
lost
kicking
mine.
off tonight, and I'm going to remind you what it looks like because most of the time I order myself 4 copies because I will lose all 4 of them
I've
before we
got
start.
to find it.
It's the first time Fran has been the one to lose anything. It's always me. And in Fran's defense, her whole world has been upside down.
My
and
car
her
got totaled. Remember that,
got
people?
totaled. So anyway, I just noticed I had in my Bible, y'all
Oh,
always
that's
stick little
so
cute things in your Bibles
sweet.
for bookmarks.
Oh, yeah. And then you're like, what is this?
I found a photo booth selfie of Cole with Drake and Hudson Butler, and they were young.
Precious.
And it is so cute. But anyway, we are...
You've got to, when you say the title, say it in your most Southern voice. Because when I see all of those words, I just hear it in such a Southern way.
Well, see, I hear the Eagles in the background and sing it like the Eagles. I thought you were going to say sing the title.
No.
I'm so glad you didn't say that.
Okay, well, you can sing it and
No.
I'll say it Southern.
You don't want me to sing it.
Okay.
You say it Southern.
A Fine Sight to See by,
You nailed it.
by Sophie Hudson.
Leading because you were made for it.
It's so good, y'all. I'm having to
it's
listen to it on Audible, which I don't love to do when we're going to be in a book because I like to underline and write and do all the things. I'm going to find my copy or order another one.
It's so
But
good.
It is so good, y'all. Highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet.
And we're walking through Exodus, and
Yeah.
and it's just she says, a fascinating and life-changing perspective on leading and loving well.
And if you are an Audible gal, Sophie is the narrator. She's reading it. So that's what makes it so super fun too, because she's so great.
Because, we talk all the time about how, and I'd love for her to come back. We both would on the podcast. She's been on here before more than once. But it says you have beautiful, needed, purposed gifts, connecting those gifts to your voice, your life, your work, your leadership, and your loves. Well, it's the biggest blast you will ever have.
Her partner in crime, Melanie Shankle, also has a new book coming out.
She does?
I don't keep talking. I'm looking it
Yeah,
up.
find her book.
I'm going to find it because I love the title and the design of it.
When we had Sharon Hottie Miller on as a guest, she told me that Melanie is my doppelganger voice, and that was the best compliment I've ever had in my whole entire life.
Okay. Maybe the book is out. No, it releases in February.
Does it say what it's called or what it's about?
Yeah, it's called Here Be Dragons, Treading the Deep Waters of Motherhood, Mean Girls, and Generational Trauma.
Whoa.
So look at the cover of it. Y'all can't, moment of silence while we look at the cover.
Okay. Y'all,
Here
this is a
Be
mystery.
Dragons, Treading the Deep Waters of Motherhood, Mean Girls, and Generational Trauma. I think it's going to be fantastic. And I've heard her talk just a little bit about it. Break the cycles of your past to build your daughter's future. Anyway, I think it's going to be great.
I love it.
Laugh, cry, and discover solidarity in Melanie Shankle's journey of confronting her past to become the mother her daughter truly needed.
Oh, wow.
Here Be Dragons is a testament to the power of God's healing and the enduring bond between mother and daughters. I think it's going to be great. Releases mid-February.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that.
A Fine Sight to See by
Fine Sight to
Sophie
See.
Hudson. Coming to the Union Volleyball Girls. Okay, are we ready to tell them?
Well, we've got to have our little spiritual segment.
Okay,
first.
here's our spiritual segment.
Our spiritual segment.
Okay.
We've done our animal segment. We haven't done Are You Struggling? What are you struggling with segment? You're struggling with not talking about our trip yet. It's coming.
My struggling segment is I have about 4 significant things happening in my work, and I feel like it's just my brain feels very full and overwhelmed. And today, before I walked over here, I started to make a list, and when I make a list, y'all,
that's a big deal.
That means that it's serious. So I just feel overwhelmed, and I'm always afraid of. I wrote this down last night in a meeting. We had to write down what we were anxious about in regards to this upcoming mission trip. And I wrote down, but this applies to a lot of things. I wrote down that I'm afraid of disappointing people, that they have a certain expectation in their mind about anything tied to me and I don't meet that expectation that they've set.
That's heavy.
It is. Like, I just feel like I'm going to disappoint people. And that's typically not my character, my thought process. But
that's just where you go in stress, right?
I think that things, because there's still so much new happening, that it just feels like, oh, I'm going to disappoint
Well, can
people.
I just encourage you and say, I know Fran and I know the Jesus in Fran. You're going to be just fine.
Jesus plus Fran is so much better than just Fran.
Is a fine sight to see. That's what that is. A fine sight to see.
Okay, what are you struggling with?
I mean, I could elaborate on that. Just work is crazy. And y'all may remember my one word for the year is peace.
I was like, what is it, y'all? I've already forgot.
Remember, because I'm going to hold up 2 peace signs
two
everywhere
peace
I go
signs.
and just remind myself I'm at peace, like a little hippie over here. So I'm trying to just not say I have a word and actually let that word be kind of like the running background of my mind, my day.
Some Bible verse says, let the peace of Christ rule in your heart. Because for it, when it's, in order for it to rule, you're saying there's a struggle going on and I need it to rule, not the other things that you're feeling.
And it doesn't mean the other things aren't there.
That's
only
right.
at peace.
That's right.
We've got to actively fight for that peace.
So you want the peace of Christ to rule over your heart.
And I'm really good at theories and concepts. I'm not so good at doing the work and taking the everyday steps of disciplined action to get there. So I've tried to start recognizing when I'm starting to get worked up and not just spiral. And I've brought back like box breathing. I'm trying to do that more, where you inhale, hold it 5 seconds, exhale, hold it 5 seconds.
Also a good exercise for your lungs.
Okay.
I've read that somewhere on the internet.
Our lung health matters.
It does matter.
That is good.
Yes.
And then my stretching, I'm just trying to I'm so worked up and on 100 miles and I'm either asleep or I'm crazy. So I'm trying to just be a little bit calmer. And I'm trying to just be aware of that. And my verse for, I almost said this week, but I'm not going to have a weekly verse. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not. I don't currently have a weekly verse. This may be my verse for a while. But 2 Thessalonians 3:16 is, may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times and in every way. Yeah. And I love that, because he's the Lord himself of peace. Like, that's what he's given me always, everywhere, and every way. So I'm just trying to reset.
It's also kind of scary to think about how much of control we have. Like, he can be trying to give us that peace, offer us that peace, all the knowledge, all that stuff that we've grabbed a hold of, but we're not doing anything with it. And it's scary to think that we are actively, passively choosing to not accept that. That's so scary and sad.
He's trying to give us the greatest gift.
I know, we do it all the time.
We're just throwing it down on the ground and stomping on it.
And like, no, I'm good, God, I got it. But we don't realize that's in the moment after the fact.
We don't realize that's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's just so sad. We're sorry, Lord.
I think I said this last time. Like, what is the end game? Like Dr. Deb said, begin with the end in mind. What is the end game? I want to be at peace in heaven with Jesus. Right. Well, I'm not going to be running around as everybody's little savior of all their problems. And I've got to learn how to. Yeah. It would behoove me to learn now how to maintain a posture of peace for all of my eternity.
Yeah, so, I know. Well, that's why we've got our whole life to learn, because we don't ever get it all figured out.
Sanctify us, Lord.
Yes. Okay, are y'all ready?
We need a drum roll. Should we tell how you found out some of these things?
We've also got to figure out how to share the video, which we'll figure that out.
Well, we need to talk about what you knew and what you didn't know, and how it became even more fun.
For years, Angela has been saying to me, am I just going to go right out and say, like, this is...
You decide. Okay. Take it away, friend.
I feel like y'all are going to be like, what?
Let me start by saying somebody has a really significant, exciting birthday coming up.
The big 5-5, y'all.
Somebody
55.
Somebody named Fran is turning 55 in a few weeks and has a lot of other things going on in life, so we have to celebrate early. And she does not necessarily
sounds like I'm dying.
Want all the attention she's about to get, but
this will be fun.
It's going to be so much fun.
This is going to be so fun.
Nobody deserves it more than Fran Thomas, ladies and gentlemen, and she's about to get it.
Oh, it's fun because when you've been mentioning it and asking like, hey, do you think you ever could go? And I never could. And it just didn't work out. But the Lord knew. The Lord knew the year, the time. He knew when this was going to matter.
I don't even remember when we planned it.
Well, it was, I'm going to say, probably late fall. And you said, hey, Martin Luther King weekend is coming up in January. It's a long weekend. Maybe you could take off on Friday and we could take a little trip, get on an airplane, head south, not north, but head south.
And not to Mexico.
Not to Mexico. We're going to stay in the continental.
Meredith guessed Mexico.
Yeah. And let's go to Angela's favorite place on earth, the happiest place on earth, Walt Disney World. Woo-hoo! And I was like, okay, I think I can. And so I got my ticket and really just kind of like that was the end of it. Like I just knew that this is when we were going. But last week before the snow hit, Angela sends me this. I didn't think anything of it really other than just trying to figure out what is she talking about.
I'm so bad at surprises.
Well, actually, you're good at it because I'm just like, yes, ma'am, whatever.
It was like a riddle.
Yeah. She goes, I need to give you something that has to do with the trip and I've got to give it to you in person.
I had it created. So I had something created that someone needs to be there to give you.
Yes. And I thought, what is this? And so I really couldn't figure it out. And so the snow was coming on Friday and we chose Thursday night. We met at Chick-fil-A and I walk inside Chick-fil-A and I see her and our beloved friend and podcast guest, Susie Said So. I see the two of them sitting at a booth. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are y'all doing? What is going on? And I'm still just like not thinking anything. I still can't figure it out. And so Susie says, well, I cannot let the two of you all go to Disney World without looking like you belong there or something like that. And so she pulls out 2 bags that have been beautifully made by her daughter, Callie, with our names on them, and inside are
hold on, her sketching, her freehand.
This is freehand
sketches on the outside of these
she
bags.
could sell these.
They look like she is part of Disney World herself. They're phenomenal.
She could do this as a side gig.
So talented.
So we open up my bag.
Fran has not been in years. When's the last time you've been?
I'm going to say 20 years.
That's important.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we go through all the clothes. I open up my bag. It's so precious. I'm a Princess t-shirt. I'm a Happiest Place on the Earth t-shirt. I've got my Mickey Mouse t-shirt. I've got a sweatshirt that you all will see if you will have seen all of this.
Probably an obnoxious amount of things will be posted every weekend.
And so
but Susie had us an outfit curated for every day of
then
the trip.
It clicked like, well, of course this is why you're here. You want to make sure that we look the part. And so then she gives Angela her bag. It's similar, but a little different. And then out of nowhere, she goes, oh, heck, which was so funny. She goes, oh, heck, I can't let y'all go without me. I'm going too. And I was like,
she reaches under the table and has her bag with her matching outfit.
Yes, she's got her own getup that she's going to be wearing. So the 3 of us have hightailed it to Florida, and you've seen all the stories and all the things. But it's so fun to see how it came to be, because I just would have never dreamed. I just thought Angela's got, like, Angela knows where we're staying. Angela's going to figure out what parks we do on what days. Angela's going to figure out where to eat. I don't care. Like, I literally, you could say, here's another piece of pizza. We had that for lunch, but this is what we're having for dinner.
That will not be your reality.
I don't, like, that's how low maintenance I am.
I love that your expectations are 0.
Oh, 0.
That I just might, humble brag, be the queen of all this.
Oh, 100%. And that's what makes it so fun, is because typically when I go to my favorite place in New York, Clay and I do the polar opposite. We just kind of wing it and do whatever we feel like doing for that day. And so this is just like next level crazy, but it's so fun. And by the time this airs, again, you all will have seen all this and you know all this. But I think it's fun to hear how it came to be.
Absolutely. And by the time this airs, we will be the Monday before the Saturday of the Hold Fast conference where we're speaking, and Susie and Susanna are part of that. And it's just so
it's fun and sweet.
Beautiful. Yeah. It's rare that you and I can count on probably one hand the times we've been on trips together.
Right.
And then to have Susie get to come just still blows my mind.
Yeah.
And then that we can all have this time together as we're preparing for what God's going to do as we serve these women. It's all so sweet. It's just the timing is perfect. Just everything about it is so fun.
Yeah.
And Fran is becoming a princess on her birthday.
I know it. Well, yeah, keep in mind my birthday's not till February. But
it doesn't matter.
But in Disney, they don't care. Mm-hmm. They're not going to ask for my ID. No. But it's also funny because when I got home and I was telling Chip about it because he was just like, "Oh my gosh!" But he was also
he was like, "Are you okay?" Because we were gone so long.
Yeah, we were gone for so long. But he was also like, "I'm glad I'm not going, and I'm glad I don't have to wear this."
Carl has said, I don't know how many times, my role in this is to send y'all there. Have fun.
Have fun. Enjoy. Yes.
People either love it or they don't.
Yeah. And I know that there's several of you all that listen that are big Disney fans. So I can't wait to hear. And we will have already heard it. We're just recording this. But I guarantee you the DMs and people commenting and stuff is just going to be so fun and out of control. But
it's always, everything we talk about is always so much more fun when y'all interact. So.
Well, and it's fun because, keep in mind, I didn't have sisters. I don't have daughters. And so there's an element of this that has never existed in my life, ever.
That's right.
In 55 years. So I kept telling Chip, Susie's like the big sister I never had that's saying, wear this, do this. Like, that's why she's on this show for Susie Said So. And so I just feel like I'm going to look at her every day and be like, also, I'm going to be like, hey, Susie, when we get back at night, will you show me what to do with my hair?
Can you imagine? Susie may never want to hang out with us again, but we get the luxury of all that Susie time.
I know. It's going to be so fun. So anyway, yippee-yay! Angela is the queen of Disney. No joke. If you have Disney questions, and again, by the time you listen to this, I don't know what I'm talking about because I hadn't been yet. Pro. But she's your girl that you need to ask. Like, hey, what do you think about? Or this, that, the other. Where are we staying? I forgot.
We're staying at Caribbean Beach.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to the Caribbean.
We're going to Orlando, Caribbean. Isn't it going to be so fun?
It's going to be so fun.
Yes. So anyway. Okay, everybody. Well, enjoy your week. And thanks always for listening. Thanks for being obnoxious with us on Instagram the past few days.
Yes.
And then I can't wait to come back. And we'll have to talk about Hold Fast. We'll have to do a Disney debrief and actually talk about it. So
if you don't like Disney, you might not want to listen next time.
Exactly.
We'll do the whole debrief.
Oh, so fun, y'all. Okay, y'all have a fantastic week. We love you so much.